We're starting off the episode with a matchup against the San Antonio Spurs here early on in season number 5. Now, rather than having one showcase game in this episode, we're going to have two, and I'm just going to show the makes in both, and you'll find out relatively soon why I decided to do that. But here early on in the season, wanted to get a look here at the Spurs just to see Wemby. I think it's been a couple years that we've seen him, and of course this is the team that took who in my mind was the best player from the last draft. Now he's not currently starting right now. They're starting Cason Wallace at point guard. They're only giving him about 14 minutes a game, so if that doesn't go up, might need to look into changing his position or something so we can get more minutes with this team. But let's jump into the action here against the Spurs. Mullins taking a tough fadeaway shot and hitting it. Nice look from him. He's looking to go head-to-head early here with Victor Wembanyama, but Wemby answers right back. Goes inside for Mullins. It's tipped. Mullins gets it back and is fouled on the attempt. Here he hits the first free throw. Second one upcoming. That one goes down the barrel as well. Kispert with it to Wembanyama, and man, that length just makes that shot look so easy. Mullins was at least in the area, but it looked like he was all alone. This time Mullins, though, not great on that foul. Don't need to foul that at all. You've got, 8 inches on the guy. Just put your hand up. That's a good enough contest. Absolutely no reason to foul there. And Wallace goes 2 for 3. We're going the other way. Pope just pulls up quickly and hits the shot. Don't love the selection, but I do like the result. Miyama, that time he was all alone. Lowry, space from beyond the arc, top of the key. He hits the shot, giving Nashville the lead. Now Giddey on the handoff, goes straight to the rim and draws the foul for Moody. Layup is good as well, but another missed free throw from the Spurs. Wemby, another jump shot right down the barrel that just looks uncontested, even though it's truly not. That one's a deep 3 from Lowry. Drain right in the face of Kispert. Giddey to the rack, finishes right over the top of Moody. He does have bit of a size advantage there on that matchup. Here he's trying to go inside to Wembanyama, but help defense was good. It gets tipped in transition. Ultimately it lands back in the hands of Pope, and he hits the shot. Kind of a wild sequence there, but we get the bucket. Giddey once again on Moody. Just not a great matchup for him. This were, a playoff series, we'd probably change that matchup, but just for one game, I'm fine with it, unless it becomes a major problem. Wembanyama in the post off glass. It's that one to go, and it's been a lot of Wemby here in this first quarter. Cason Wallace gives San Antonio a double-digit lead already. Lowry lost the ball there for a second, swings it over to Moody, who drains the corner 3. Wembanyama on the drive. How do you stop this guy? One time we've actually forced him to miss, and it's a foul. He's been absolutely insane, averaging pretty much 30 points a game here to start the season. That one splashes home for Moody. He's hit a couple nice jumpers here. Lowry in transition hits the mid-range jump shot. Too much space for Wemby beyond the arc again, and this guy just does not miss. How do you defend that? How? Lowry inside, just goes right over the top of Kispert for 2. Now he's trying to drive to the rim, and I like what I'm seeing there, getting all the way to the rim and hitting the layup. Lowry again. This time he's passing to Hudson. That 3 is pure. We're now tied here at 32 apiece after being down 10 just momentarily. Giddey gets the Spurs back ahead. Lowry off the dribble, hits that shot from beyond the arc. He has been looking very sharp. Andre Stevens with the first quarter coming to a close is gonna hit the three at the buzzer. So a very high scoring quarter, neither defense really doing much to get stops, but the Nashville Sound will lead by 4 after 1. Wembanyama to start the second gets to the rim and draws the AC Stevens foul. There's just truly no way to defend him, not with anybody that we have on our roster. And it's kind of opened my eyes a little bit, like, what, should this team eventually meet in the finals? I'm not saying this year, but maybe a year or two down the road, or who knows, maybe even this year. How do we stop this guy? Because I gotta be honest, what we've seen so far, and we'll see even more of it still, I've never seen a more hopeless player to defend. There's just Francis Mullins is the longest player that we have on the team, and he can't even get close to contesting his shots. And then when he does miss, he does that. Oh, beyond the arc. Drains the three. But to be honest, I don't think we're alone in the fact that we don't have a Wemby stopper. How many Wemby stoppers are in the league at the moment? I mean, you're talking a guy that's got to be probably at least 7'2" with decent athleticism to have a shot. How many of those are in the league? Spurs are very tough guard. Mullins there gets us a 1-point lead here, but fouls Wemby on the other end. Victor hits the first free throw, second one up and in, right behind it. Powers taking a little bit of a leaning mid-range shot, that one right down the barrel. These teams trading baskets here in the second. A no-looker from Cason Wallace. And that gets Wembanyama a shot in the post. Forgot to actually show the foul that gave Pope these shots, but here you go. Gets a couple from the line. Giddey pick and roll. Patrick Williams gets blocked, but they're gonna call a foul before the block. And he hits both free throws. Up top for Mullins, he gets the finish. That was a tough pass to make. There were a couple of Spurs there right in that area. But we got the basket to go anyway. Giddey with it. Hits it to Wallace. Spurs just going around the horn here. Patrick Williams hits the shot off the dribble. Spurs lead by 5. Wallace here again. It's another clean look for Patrick Williams, who drains it again. 61-53. Mullins quick shot here off the catch. Hits us 2. Wallace beyond the arc. Another catch and shoot. 3 for San Antonio. They're building up a little bit of a lead here late in the second quarter, and Wallace hits another 3, and they're up by a dozen. This is just a 1-point game, but the Spurs have all of a sudden heated up from beyond the arc. They've gotten a lead off of it. Powers gets himself to the line. It's both of his free throw attempts. Giddey with it. Bounce pass. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Hard to be mad about that one. Just a pinpoint pass from Giddey. It's Wembanyama though, and 1 play. We're now down by 13. Sidney Lowry, nice scoop layup. Really like kind of what I'm seeing from Lowry on his drives. It feels like he's going all the way to the rim a lot more this year, which I love to see. Wild shot there by Wembanyama. But that's going to end the second quarter. We go from up 4 to down 13. Not a good quarter for us defensively at all. We've allowed 72 points at the half. We can't stop Wemby, who is the reigning player of the week, who has 36 points and 14 rebounds at the half. This guy is on pace. He's probably not going to hit it, but he's on pace for 70 points and 25 rebounds. That is nuts. Lowry leading the scoring by quite a lot. Pope with 9 and 5. Mullins with 9 and 8. But it's just not enough. We cannot stop the Spurs. We cannot get any stops against the San Antonio team. And honestly, this isn't the kind of the team that I've felt the most like helpless to guard that I think I've faced. You know, every other team, kind of when I face them in the regular season, I think, oh, what would be my game plan if we were to face them in the playoffs that would hopefully slow them down. For the Spurs, you know, I could think of things for most people, but how you guard Wemby in a playoff series is just something I can't even fathom. Giddy on the drive just blows right by Moody. We're down by 19. Lowry hits the shot. Now in transition, Moses Moody pulls up and hits that jumper as well. Wish he would have gone to the basket, but it's worth the same 2 points. Wembanyama. I mean, how? Lowry, that's a good look. We're back down to 14. Got to get some stops though, which has just been something we have not been able to do. Giddy and Wembanyama, that little two-man action is just frankly something that this team is incapable of handling. And it showed up all throughout this game. From the first quarter all the way to now, it's been a consistent problem for us. And then if one of those two guys could just whip it to the three-point line, these guys have good shooters around them. It's a very, very well-built team. I like what San Antonio has done here with their squad, especially offensively. I think defensively they're also really good. Now, I've been so worried about our Eastern Conference threats, but man, there are a couple of really nice teams in the West. San Antonio is one of them. Here, that's a snatch block on a dunk attempt from behind. He just came over, a little bit of glitch there because it's a video game, but he just came over and snatched that boy from his hands. Giddy on the drive. Now passing it around to Trey Murphy in the corner. We're down by 30. I've seen enough of this game. This game single-handedly changed the way I viewed this team. We just got blown out by 44. We're not maybe quite as ready for the deep playoff run that I thought. Upper tier teams don't get blown out by 44. 48 and 19 is what Wemby ends up with. 4 blocks. Sheldon Starks did a lot of work, I guess, in the fourth quarter when it was a blowout. Again, if he continues to not see much in the way of minutes, I'll probably change his position, maybe to small forward. I imagine he'll get more minutes there. But dang, that was embarrassing. And because that game was so bad, I wanted to see another one. And heading into this second game, which we'll see who we're playing in just a minute, we are only 2-5 on the year. this is a bad start. So we're making a change. Lamont Powers is coming into the lineup. We need an infusion of defense. And while Moody is technically the better defender, I think Powers' size and athleticism will help him be a better defender. We're also changing back to the Cavaliers playbook. I just haven't seen really any cutting plays. I think this team, with the fact that we have so many athletes on the floor, like these cutting plays are some of the best for us. I don't think offense has necessarily been the problem. I think our problem has mostly been defensively, but we need a shakeup. 2-5 to start the year is simply not good enough. And we've lost 4 in a row heading into this matchup. I also just want to play through star. Let's get Sidney Lowry the ball. Play through him aggressively here. Could do shoot at will. But I think we'll go no preference here. I'm going to go with the flow. So we're going with the Cavaliers playbook. We're going with Lamont Powers in the starting lineup ahead of this rematch with, of course, the team that we lost to last year in the playoffs, the Detroit Pistons. And really need to pick up a win here because this start to the season has been abysmal. Now, this is a team that I and also the comment section thought was, a conference championship level team probably this year, but my goodness. At this point, we might not even be a playoff team. Got to pick things up here. Of course, a small sample size, just 7 games, but we've been blown out. I didn't show you in simulation. We were also blown out by 40 against the Pacers this season already. We've already been blown out by 40 plus twice in the first 7 games. Something's not clicking right. It's taking these guys a little bit of time to get used to Quinn Snyder, I guess. But, after opening night being so wonderful, as that was a beautiful fake there by Lowry. In such a beautiful game. Only needed to watch the first 3 quarters. It was so wonderful. We just have not been doing anything good since. So hopefully these changes can help us out. Lowry here, pulling up at the free throw line, and we've got a quick little start here, 13-5. Kid comes back with a free throw jumper. Man, we have seen a lot of these Pistons here lately. That's why I didn't want to give them their own episode, just kind of make them part 2 of a 2-game episode. And so here kid gets to the rim from the corner. Lowry, tough looking little floater, and he hits it. One thing I've liked about Lowry is just it feels like every season he's added a little bit to his bag on his drives. I remember, year 1 and probably even year 2 Lowry, it was mostly just pull-up jumpers. And then year 3, he added a little bit. In year 4, it seems like he's adding a little bit more. And now he's become really a lethal driver. And when early on in his career, he was mostly just a perimeter shot creator. Now he's become pretty much impossible to stop, I feel like. The jump shot's not working, he can just get 20 points in the paint. But if the jump shot is working, then he can hit, 8 threes on you. So really think Sidney Lowry has become the bona fide superstar here. He was last year, but I think he's even just taken it up another notch here as he gets the assist to Davidson. And that's why I want to play through him more. Of course, you want good looks for Mullins and Pope too, but they get a lot of time when he's not on the court. All 12 minutes when he's not on the court, it's Pope and Mullins time. So I think when Lowry's on the court, we want to play through him. We'll see if this works. If not, we can always go back to getting our shooters open, which is what we did last year. Snyder came with the neutral offensive focus. I don't really love that. I like having something that we're focusing on. But whether we stick with play through star or get shooters open, we'll see here in the simulation portion of this episode. Through 1 quarter, we're up 5, and that's a beautiful feed from Malachi Pope. Needed to be right on the money, and that's exactly where it was. Here, Giannis draws the foul. For this episode, I did not do anything special with the game plan. You know, I wanted to not tip off our cap to Detroit, giving them an idea of how we would defend them if we were to face them again, because, you know, our lineup is a little bit different, so we might have some different strategies, and we'll wait till a potential playoff series to reveal any of them. For now, we're just going with our base game plan here, which is why you might see some different players guarding their stars. Although with this current setup Detroit has, Giannis actually plays a lot of the 5, and so he's still matched up with Mullins quite a bit. Throw to the corner. We've got Malachi Pope, who hits the 3, gets fouled on top of it, and we've got a 5-point lead. Giannis driving to the rim, spinning, and that's a beautiful shot. Hard to stop that. Powers on the cut. There you go. That's exactly why I switched the playbook. We did not see any of that kind of action in the Hawks playbook, and it's just something that we're so good at, especially with Powers starting. He's probably one of the better cutters on the entire team, just with his athleticism and his 6'9" frame. So if he's getting his role expanded, we got to get him some plays that actually work for him, and I like that one quite a bit. Davidson here splits the free throws. Kawhi with it, going to Giannis, who takes a step inside the arc and drills the mid-range shot. We are tied 39 apiece, 7.5 minutes into this ball game. Quick shot by Francis Mullins, given too much space there. He hits the shot easily. Here thought about shooting from the post. Instead, he goes to Lamont Powers, who was fouled behind the free throw line. Missed the first free throw though. Second is no good. 2 in a row. Come on, you can't go for 3. Okay. Doesn't go for 3, but still 1 for 3 is pretty terrible. Pope. Nice job getting to the rim. Just kind of blew by the defense there. And had a kind of a weird underhanded finish. Don't know why he just didn't go up strong. Okay. Something we've seen quite a bit in the last few episodes of this Nashville Sound series is him pulling up from the mid-range. There he does it again. This time it's Pope who's pulling up for the floater off glass. Nick Smith right over the defense there. That was a tough shot. Respect for the make there. Mullins off the catch. Gets the 3 off the assist of Pope. Cunningham given just a little bit of space, but he makes the most of that space. Davidson gets the answer though. Kawhi, guarded by Augustine, taking him down in the post and shooting over the top. Pistons in transition. That's a quick bucket by Ivy. That's really where he thrives. And use his speed to full effect there. Davidson off the catch. Had Nick Smith right underneath him, but it didn't matter. Davidson again. This time going inside to Francis Mullins, who slams it home. Cade. Step. Oh, what a move by Cade. Wow. That was one of the sweetest moves I think I've seen in this game. Just the beautiful crossover into the pump fake that got 2 defenders. Woo. That was sweet. Here he gets a wide open 3-point attempt and splashes it. Cade, man, he gives this team problems. Much like I assume he does many teams. Of course, in real life, the Pistons just recently broke the record for most consecutive losses in NBA history. Tough look for them, of course. And no condolences to any Pistons fans who may be watching this channel, as Cade gets the 3-pointer right before halftime, and we've got a 2-point lead. Very surprising, you know. I've liked a lot of the players that they've added to their roster throughout the years. It's just something's not quite right with the vibes of that team. Because I feel like, you know, I'm not saying they should be good, but they shouldn't be the worst team in NBA history. I just don't see it with the talent on that team. Lowry, Mullins, Davidson, and Pope all with double digits at halftime. Like the way we've been spreading out the rock a bit. Pope also with 8 assists. Mullins with 6 rebounds, both on track for double-doubles. Let's get into the second half. Sidney Lowry pulls up for the mid-ranger. Here with the shot clock winding down, getting to the rim and drawing the foul. Ivy cannot guard Sidney Lowry. Way too small. And we got to have Lowry taking advantage of that, going to the rim more, much like we saw in the first half. Cunningham gets the screen top of the key and dishes it inside. After a couple of fakes, that one falls for Clayton. Pope dishes to Mullins. He's got Cade on him. That's an easy bucket. Nashville leads by 6, but Cade's going to cut that lead down by 2 here from the mid-range. Mullins, quick answer there. Clayton gave him way too much room on that entry feed. Oh, waits the Mullins screen. Nice bounce pass inside and the slam at the end. 19 points on 11 shots from Mullins. Very efficient day for him. As Giannis hits that tough shot, leaning almost out of bounds there. Cade from beyond the arc. Another shot for him. Lowry just off the mark on his shot, but a putback by Mullins. He's having himself a day. And he really needed to. The Pistons might have the worst center rotation in all of basketball. I mean, at least Giannis plays some backup center, so that makes it probably not the worst. Because, you know, Giannis is the best backup center in the league, but definitely have the worst starter, you'd have to think. Nice pass there from Davidson and a screen by Mullins to set up the wide open corner 3 for Sid, the kid. Ivy responds with a 3 of his own. That's going to lead to a Nashville timeout. We're up 6 here with just under 4 remaining in the third. Lowry gets to the rim and finishes over the top of Dylan Brooks with a free throw upcoming as well. And again, I said it in the Spurs game, but I like what I'm seeing from Lowry. It just feels like he's going all the way to the rim a lot more on his drives this year. That's what I want to see from him, because not only are they typically higher percentage shots for a guy with his size, but you're going to get fouled more. And upping your free throw, you know, takes is an easy way to up your scoring as well. Ivy there. Nice mid-range basket. Sam Hudson tries for one of his own and he hits it. In transition, Detroit feeds it inside to Dylan Brooks, who finishes with the foul. Ernest Augustine, not a great foul there. 3-point play is complete. It's a 1-basket ball game. Ernest Augustine gets Brooks to fall for the pump fake on the other end and draws the foul. First free throw falls. Doesn't look like he thought that one was going in. He goes 2 for 2. Waters, easy look from 3. 89 to 87 now the score. A minute left in the third. Augustine, wide open look from 3. He drains the shot. Giannis, despite the help defense, still able to get to the basket. Down to 5 seconds left here in the quarter. Lowry's going to miss the jumper. If Giannis can hit this, it's a tie game, but he is off the mark. So we'll head into the final period up by 3. Still a very high-scoring ball game, despite the lineup change. Trying to get some more defense here, but Pistons are definitely a tough team to stop with their elite duo. Moody allowed just way too much space there. Takes the early 3 and drains it. Oh, one up off the mark. Too much on it, but Ernest Augustine cleans up the boards. Mullins in the post. He's got a smaller man on him and shoots right over the top. Pistons get it to J.D. Davidson, who swings it to Ivy. That's a good look late in the shot clock. Played good defense for 21 seconds, but you need to play it for the full 24, and that's a nice cut by Mullins. Oh, the Moody goes off glass. Hope here off the Moody pass, just giving each other an easy bucket. And we lead by a dozen. Now Moody in the corner wide open, and he drains the three. Now, benching Moody is a tough decision for me. I'm a big Moody fan. I like what he's done for us in this series. Him only having 12 minutes is really, I think, a drawback of our current rotation, because he's definitely not a 12-minute-a-game player. He's been really good for us now for a couple of years. And so this lineup change we made, I don't think it's going to be something we can do for a whole season. I don't imagine Moody's going to be happy with 12 minutes a game. And also, I don't think I want him at just 12 minutes a game. He deserves more than that on this team. And so there's a comment about, you know, Davidson is going to need a bigger role at some point. And, you know, I agree. I just think that this team is probably just a little bit too good for the amount of minutes that you can play in a basketball game. It just feels like there's not enough minutes to go around for our guys. Now, I've tried several different lineups. That lineup that I showed you between these games, it took me a full-on hour to come up with that lineup, and that's the best I could do, and I still don't love it. So what can we do about it is truly the question here. Is we've pretty much stayed around this kind of 15-point lead mark, somewhere around there, within a couple points for most of this stretch. Just trading baskets. What can we do about it? It is the question I have, and after this game I'll pose maybe a couple of ideas that I've come up with myself, but I definitely want to hear what you guys think. Let's finish off this game. Jaden Ivey cuts this down to a dozen. Pistons with it again. Cade Cunningham goes off glass, and it's now just a 10-point game. A minute left here. Detroit trying to make a late comeback, and we get a bad foul on Jaden Ivey. It's the first free throw. Drills the second as well. Inbounding here to Lowry. He gets the ball stolen by Jaden Ivey. Come on, we cannot sell. Giannis, three-point attempt is no good, but Clayton with the tip back in. And then this three from Francis Mullins is truly going to be the dagger. 9 points with 30 seconds left. We're going to get the victory. Once we got that steal, it was in question for just a second, but we needed that one more basket to seal the deal, and that's exactly what we got. Detroit fans gonna go home not so happy as Nashville comes in and gets the victory, 127 to 120. The final score. Francis Mullins is your player of the game, and that's a decision I can't argue with at all. I thought Francis Mullins was excellent in this game, very efficient and very impactful as well. So, love that we were able to bounce back from what was truly a horrible game against the Spurs and get the victory here. The big two for Detroit still did their thing. Cade dropped 40. Giannis had a triple-double. But Lowry ended up with 35, 3 and 4, 32 and 18 on 16 shots. Probably the best scoring game, at least from Mullins, that we've seen. Hope with 18 assists. Didn't shoot it incredibly, but I mean, 18 assists to 1 turnover is actually insane. We got a few guys here at 8 points. Lamont Powers in his first ever start goes 8, 4 and 1. And we get the win. Shout out to Ayo Malik for subbing while I recorded this. We are ending off today's episode on December 5th, and as you can see, we are just 11 and 11. Something is clear is that what we're doing is not quite working to the level that we know that this team can play. We did, of course, make the change to the starting lineup as well as the playbook here ahead of the Pistons game. We were 2-5 at the time. And so, you know, we have a winning record since then. We're 11-6. Sorry, 9-6. So hopefully that will help turn things around for us here, but definitely we need to pick up the pace this year. And in terms of pace, speaking of it, I proposed maybe going through the regular seasons a little bit faster last episode. Didn't hear anybody stating that they wanted to keep things, you know, at the same pace. So I think about trying to get through the regular season in about 5 episodes will be the plan here for this first season, which will be about 20 games an episode for the foreseeable future, for the final 3 games here, episodes here to end off the regular season. And we can get to postseason basketball, but at this point, it's not 100% clear that we'll make it. We might have to slow things down so that we can get a better feel of what's going wrong. And so the plan gonna be 5 episodes in this regular season, but we can always change it if we feel like we need to. But we're starting to get that chemistry going, which I think will hopefully lead to us getting better wins here. There's one thing I've learned here in this episode, though, is I think we are officially a 9-man rotation kind of team. I just think we've reached that point here in the franchise, and that leaves somebody out. You know, I just think somebody's getting 12 minutes when we have a 10-man rotation. That's just the way things are going, and everybody that we're playing deserves more minutes than that. And so I think we really got to consider the possibility of trading one of our 10 guys in our rotation. Who could it be? I think I'm leaning towards it being one of Moody or Hudson to be the guy traded. What that's going to do is it's just going to leave more room for Davidson to kind of play either all of the shooting guard and small forward minutes off the bench, or all of the shooting guard and point guard minutes off the bench, which I think he could do either or. And so Hudson's contract becomes tradable on December 19th, as does Moses Moody. They just, of course, signed in the offseason, and that's here in just a couple weeks, and we'll be passing December 19th. So who should we trade between Hudson and Moody? I think you can make an argument for either. I think Moody is that great defender and great shooter, and is obviously has the better size, whereas Hudson has proven his worth as a passer here on this team and also provides shooting as well. He has a lot more badges. The real question with Hudson is some of his tendencies cause him to shoot some bad shots, but when he keeps those in line, he's a really productive player. He's just kind of one of our more inconsistent guys, whether or not he's decided that game to take some wild shots or if he's decided to play more within the offense. And so I could see myself trading either one of these players, but I think when all is said and done, one of them will be traded, and we just have to figure out who it is. It's just going to free up one more spot in the rotation. It's going to help everybody get minutes that are closer to what I want them to get. 10-man is just a little bit too crowded with the team that we have, and we saw some potential problems with the current roster. Now, of course, everybody's still young, you know, with that game against the Spurs, but I don't know if youth was what made that game so bad. Just, we do not have anybody to stop Giannis. And not saying one trade's gonna do it, but if we can get some extra picks that will help us get, you know, a Giannis, not a Giannis, Wemby stopper, excuse me. Wemby's the guy that we couldn't guard. We can't guard Giannis either. But just these really long players have been giving us fits. And that's even with Francis Mullins, who I think is a really, really good player. But need to find something. Need to find something, because those are the guys that we're going to have to beat in the playoffs. And, you know, trading one of these guys away could give us the assets to hopefully, you know, help us get that person in one of these next couple of drafts. And so that's what I'm thinking. Let me know what you think. Should we trade Hudson? Should we trade Moody? Should we trade somebody else? Trade, you know, Ernest Augustine, put Powers back on the bench, and he can have both forward spots on the coming off the bench. I think there are several different options that we can take a look at here, and I want to hear your thoughts. Maybe just don't trade anybody else. I'll just write it out a bit with this new 10-man rotation that we have. That's also on the cards. You know, I'm not going to say it's impossible for us to just stick with what we've got here. So again, let me know what you think might be the best move for this team or lack thereof. But that's all I've got for this episode. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back soon with more Nashville Sound. And until then, sound up.